This photo, we're going to look at some color adjustments and contrast. Now, a good place if you're inside of ON1 Photo Raw, you can just hit AI Auto and see what that does to your image. I really like the vibrance that it brings out in this image, so I think I'm going to keep these basic adjustments just like that. We're going to go ahead and click on Effects, and the very first thing that we're going to add is a color adjustment. Now, what I want to do is really get these greens to come out just a little bit more. I can click on the foliage option, and that just looks a little too fake. Now, what I can do is just pull down on my opacity, bring that to about 50%, and that looks a little bit better. But if I really think that the greens are oversaturated, I can just pull down on this green slider, and if I want to darken those greens just a little bit more, I can bring down my brightness slider. And that's looking a little bit more of what I was expecting to do inside of this image. The next thing that we'll do is we'll add a dynamic contrast filter. Dynamic contrast is a good filter if you want to contrast the lines in your images. This leaf has lines all over it, so it's going to really work well for us in this particular case. So I've already added the dynamic contrast, and by turning it off and on, you can see it's almost a night and day difference. Now, that's a little too much contrast for what I want to do. So I'm actually going to pull back on the small details, the medium, and the large. And I think that's a little bit more subtle. Yeah. So I think it's too subtle now. So I'm going to bring up the large, and you can see that it's really coming through on this segment of the image. And then it's also darkening some of this area over here. So that's how you'll add in contrast and a little bit of color adjustment.